Hi, this is Rabbi Chaim Kaufman. Welcome to our 284th installment in the Torah portion of the week. We are holding by Parshas Miketz. Parshas Miketz all about Yosef and interpreting the dreams of Pharaoh being second in command to Pharaoh, and talk about the famine in Egypt, and Yaakov's going to send down his family, right, in order to get food. So, Yosef speaks to them in a harsh way. We spoke about that in a previous video on my YouTube channel. But in either case, the Torah says, chapter 43, verse 16, right? The Torah says Yosef sees Binyamin with them, right? Because they had to send Binyamin down. So Binyamin's there. So he said the one in charge of his house, bring the men into the house, have meat slaughtered, prepare it, for with me will these men dine in me. Right? So he says, tell the men, prepare this, and we're all going to eat together. Right? Essentially, we're going to eat together. So comes on the Medrash. Medrash says, what does it mean over here? What does it mean to prepare the meat? What is this preparation? So it means it was Shabbos. Right? This preparation means it was Shabbos. Right? Then on the sixth day, you got to prepare. Right? You got to prepare for Shabbos. And what you going to eat on Shabbos? So what do we see? We see that Yosef kept Shabbos even before the Torah is given. There's another Medrash Parshas Tachuma, Medrash Tachuma and Parshas Naso, chapter 28, and also brings what we just mentioned, but there's an addition. That Medrash adds on, right? And God says that you kept Shabbos even before it's given. He says, so God says, your grandson, right? Because you kept Shabbos before it was given, he says, I'm going to make sure your grandson is going to sacrifice on Shabbos. Right? Who says you're allowed to keep Shabbos before it's given? Right? One of the questions is going to be, but the patriarchs kept Shabbos, Gemara says. Patriarchs kept Shabbos before it was given. So where do we know this from? They sacrificed on Shabbos. Because it says on the seventh day, right, that the children of Ephraim sacrificed. Right? It says over there, Parshas Naso. Right? So it's talking about the sacrifice of the princes. When was that? For Ephraim, for the children of Ephraim. Right? Yosef's son. They're talking about his grandson. When is that? On Shabbos. It says, Moi Rebbe, Arav Agon Moshe Machli, this should be well. And he brings down from Skamter and Chumash and Chochmah V'das. And he says, got a lot of questions. Got a lot of questions over here. First of all, it seems from here only Yosef kept Shabbos. Well, no, we just mentioned the Avos, Avram, Yitzhak, Yaakov, they also kept Shabbos before it was given. So why are you thinking out Yosef? First question. Second question is, what's the rewards they get for that the tribe of Ephraim gets for sacrifice on Shabbos? Right? In other words, what's going on? What's the connection? What's the connection over here? Everyone wants to say, first of all, people make mistakes and they think, Shabbos is just a day of rest. Right? It's only a day of rest. Right? Just like Abdul, make a big distinction here. Between the non-Jews. That they keep Sunday. They have their day of Sunday to rest. Right? They don't work on Sunday. Right? Usually. So they have another day. So the Jews have Shabbos, have Friday night, Saturday. We have Sunday. That's what some people think. Mistakenly. Right? So too, that God gave the Jewish people this idea of Shabbos. Right? And what was the purpose of Shabbos? God forbid, just the rest. Kick back, sip my pina colada, on Shabbos. Right? So He says people are going to think, oh, it's permissible to work, and do other things on Shabbos. Right? There are things, that we're allowed to do. It's not like I'm just going to sit back. I can't do anything. Maybe I just have to stay in bed all day. Right? Not true. The person, if you have an eruv, right, you have a construction in a community where it allows you to carry. So I can carry things that are permissible. Right? I can carry things that are permissible on Shabbos. And even, so that if I wanted to, I could. Not a problem. Right? I can even work hard, bringing things or whatever. Right? But at the same time, a simple forbidden category, let's say to light electricity, right? Turn on a switch, or selection. Right? I'm not allowed to take the bad from the goods on Shabbos. Not allowed to do selection. So those things seemingly minor. Why are they minor? It's not a lot of work, not a lot of effort, but it's forbidden. According to them, right? That let's say better. According to us, it's a holy day. And yeah, we are allowed to do a lot of things. But the things we're not allowed to do just like it was done in the Mishkan, in the tabernacle, or anything similar. Right? In other words, anything similar to what was done in the tabernacle, if it's done in the tabernacle the exact same way, Torah prohibition. But anything similar will be rabbinic prohibition. People are going to say the rabbis are adding to the Torah. But essentially they're not. Why not? Because they're making a fence around the Torah. They don't want people to transgress something more severe. They don't want to come to a Torah prohibition. So they'll say, come on, I'm doing a minor thing. Why should it be forbidden? Right? Why, but they miss the whole point. Right? That's what he's getting at. They miss the whole point. Of what the purpose of Shabbos is. Shabbos, Kadosh L'Shem, it's holy to God. Maybe I just have to kick back, do nothing. But you see, I can work and do other things that are permissible. But even something minor, flicking a switch, or or selection, when selection is forbidden, it's a minor thing. Right? Don't take much effort, it's still forbidden. So what's going on here? What's going on here with Yosef? And he kept Shabbos before it was given. So the Rebbe says, what does it mean? What does it mean he kept Shabbos? Right? The whole question what the patriarchs and Yosef and the brothers, what were they considered? Were they considered Jews? Were they considered Noahites? If they considered Noahites, they're not Jewish, until the Torah is given. So a non-Jew keeps Shabbos, Chai Misa, for death penalty. If a JIT, a Jew in training, in the process of conversion, they can keep Shabbos. Right? They have to do something desecrated, right? So they're not keeping it like a Jew. Right? It could be for Noahide certain ways, maybe to tap in. But there's no question over it. So if he kept Shabbos, what's going on? Right? So Rabbi says, what does it mean he kept Shabbos? He prevented himself from doing certain categories. Right? There are 39 forbidden categories on Shabbos you're not allowed to do. Right? So it could be one of the things is he stopped doing certain things. Right? Certain categories. And then that's enough. It's a holy day. Why? Because he's not doing certain things. But the problem is Yosef HaTzadik, second in command. Right? It's close to the king. So he's running the show. He's in charge of the palace and everything else. Where do you have any menucha? Where do you have any rest over here? You're going to say, I kept Shabbos. So he's kicking back, sipping pina coladas. How can he be second in command? Second in command, no days off. No days off over here. So what did he do? So he sanctified the day, but he didn't do malacha. He didn't do any forbidden categories over here. Right? But he couldn't keep it the way He wanted to keep it. Why not? Because he's in Egypt. He's stuck in Egypt over here. What can he do? He had no choice. He had no choice. So he just prevented himself from doing some of the categories. While Avram, Yitzhak, and Yaakov and everybody else, they kept Shabbos, not only not doing the forbidden categories, but just the way they talked, the way they acted. They showed Shabbos was different. Yosef couldn't do that, right? Yosef's second in command. How's he gonna show that? How's he gonna do that? It's impossible, right? It's impossible over here. So then we understand. Rabbi here says, then we understand the merits, the rewards that the tribe of Ephraim gets. That they brought the sacrifice on Shabbos. Right, even though it was fitting to giving him Menashe. Menashe was older. Since Yaakov established that he's the elder one, right? Even though Joseph wanted to switch his hands, right? We'll see that next week's parsha when he gives the bracha, right? At the end. Nonetheless, he's considered the older. He's considered the elder one. So if that's true, can even do a Shabbos. In other words, Shabbos can supersede over here. Right? So what does it mean? What does it mean over here? Yosef kept Shabbos. And the fact that he kept Shabbos, his grandson was able to bring sacrifice on Shabbos. And he kept Shabbos in Golas, kept Shabbos in the exile. Wasn't in Israel, right? He's in Egypt. Not only that, he suffered greatly keeping Shabbos, right? And being there, let's say better, right? He suffered tremendously in Egypt, many different things he had to go through. So we say, Agra, according to the amount of pain that a person has doing something, the greater the reward. Right? So he had tremendous self-sacrifice. He's in a land, nobody else around, no family, no nothing. If he would have died there, nobody would have known. Right? So nobody would have known. And here, tremendous self-sacrifice, keeping Shabbos. Right? Even though he's second in command. So, okay, certain things he couldn't do. So it's tremendous self-sacrifice over here. Nonetheless, he gets the reward. Because of all that self-sacrifice. The Rebbe also says, okay, right? Why, even though he was younger, when I was younger, why Yaakov gave him the bracha first? So what do you see? So it went through him because it's the Metzias. What's the Metzias? It's the way it is that it was established according to Din Torah, according to the laws of the Torah. So he got the rewards. He got the reward over here, even though he didn't deserve. Right? That's Menashe Ephraim was older, but Menashe, the younger one, made a mistake. Menashe, the younger one, got blessing first. Right? Yaakov understood, even though Yosef wanted him to give the blessing to Ephraim first. And he was the younger one. Right? So even though the reward went to the younger one, right, according to the laws of the Torah, because really, who should have gone to? Who should have gone to Menashe? Right? But here we're saying it goes to the offspring of Ephraim. Right? Why? In order to show you that what fixes things in the world. There's a Metzias. According to the Torah, there's a reality. Right? That's what a Metzias is. It's a reality. right? There's a reality. What's considered Shabbos? What's considered keeping Shabbos? Who's considered the oldest of the brothers? And and other things, right? This is a pretty important point. Pretty important point here, right? The idea is whatever the Torah says, whether I understand it more, I understand it less, doesn't matter. Whatever the Torah says, however the Torah fixes the law, whether it's according to the Torah or it's rabbinic, doesn't matter. Rabbis have a right to interpret, tell us what to do. That's Deuteronomy chapter 17. Very good. But my Rebbe is saying whatever the Torah says, this is Shabbos, this is what I have to do, this is what I'm not allowed to do. All these different things. That's what the Torah says. Right? That's what he's saying. That the Torah itself is Kovei the Metzias. The Torah itself fixes what the reality is. So if the Torah says don't keep Shabbos, you have to understand what it means. Right? Or that Yaakov wants to give the blessing, to the younger one over the older one. That's the Metzias. That is the reality. Yaakov understood. He told Joseph, I understand. He's going to be greater. He gave him the blessing. So the point is, whatever the Torah says, that's what we're going to do. That is the reality. Right? That's the reality over here. And we have to see, we have to see over here that Yaakov, right? The other example I forgot to mention. Yaakov's considered the elder. He's considered the firstborn. He's younger. He's younger than Esau. And he gets the blessing in a roundabout way. Right? Seemingly, quote unquote, he didn't deserve it. The elder should have got it. Esau should have got it. But guess what? Right? The reality is, the Metzias is, he got the blessing. He got the blessing. So the Torah says, who's considered the firstborn? Yaakov, Esau, Yaakov. The way he got it, doesn't matter. Right? That's not the point. That was we spoken about. The whole idea of him stealing the blessing, whatever the case is. But the reality is, what happened? He was considered the elder son. He was considered the firstborn. Regardless of how he got it. It comes on the Torah and says, that's the reality. Regardless of what happened. Same thing over here. Right? Gave the blessing to Menashe before, Ephraim was the younger one. So therefore, right? Therefore, the younger one gets what was fitting for the older one. Why? Because that's the way Torah fixed it. That's the way, in the end, God wanted it. So what we're saying over here is that when the Torah tells us something, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Whatever the Torah tells me, that's the reality. Not anything else. What about the rabbis? Again, the rabbis have the right to interpret. They have the right to put a fence around the Torah. They have a right to explain what the Torah means, as the Torah says. The Torah says clear, again, Deuteronomy chapter 17. But whatever that reality is, the Torah tells me, that is what it is. Not only that, it doesn't change. So I want to remind everyone that I have class on Duties of the Heart every Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, Gate of Self-Accounting. Sunday, packed day, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 4 o'clock Israel Time, Book of Leviticus chapter 16. Still working our way through. And Noahide Nations, 2:30 Eastern Time, 9:30 Israel Time on Sunday. Noahide Laws, Tuesday and Thursday. Won't be this week because of Hanukkah, but 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Israel Time, Q&A. Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern Time is Controversial Issues. Saturday, Pirkei Avos, Ethics of Fathers. 2 o'clock Eastern Time, 9 o'clock Israel Time. I have conversion classes. Anyone interested in any of this, find me on Facebook at Michael Chaim Kaufman or Beyond Orthodox Conversion Judaism. You can send me an email, rabbichaimkaufman@gmail.com, RBBICHAIMCOFFMAN @gmail.com.